I'm just about to start my workout for today. All I'm using today is a set of dumbbells and my jump rope. I'll also be using an exercise mat. So if you don't have a set of dumbbells, grab a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight. If you don't have a jump rope, you can just pantomime jumping rope or you can jog in place, that's fine. You will be more comfortable with something soft beneath you, so grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have an exercise mat, a towel may suffice. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises very briefly demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. There are 10 different exercises and I'm pressed for time today, so I'm going to go through these very, very quickly. So please remember that if you have any doubts about these exercises that we are doing today, any questions about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, I'm always here to help, so please ask questions if you have them. But very quickly, we're going to be starting with a deadlift plus a curtsy lunge. So I'm going to be holding on to my dumbbells for this. I'm also going to be adding a bicep curl. So for reference and for reference only, these are 10-pound dumbbells. That's a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter or heavier. That depends on your strength, it depends on your level of fitness, and it also just depends on what you have available to you. So for example, if you don't have dumbbells and you're using household items, you're probably not going to be able to find something that weighs 10 pounds a piece. So if you're using water bottles or shampoo bottles, your weights will be lighter, that's fine. Use what's available to you as long as you can find something that you can maintain a secure grip on so that you're not going to drop it and hurt yourself or break something and make a mess. And as long as it's not too heavy for you, then pretty much anything will work for weight. And it also just depends on how hard you're looking to push yourself. So just consider all of those factors when choosing your weights and make the decision that is best for you. But I'm going to be starting with a deadlift, so shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. You're going to hinge at the hips. So push your booty back, think about trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Remember, keeping that chest lifted high, you want to elongate your spine. The point is that you're hinging at the hips, you want to keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels. And as I'm doing that, I'm just going to let my weights kind of fall down in front of me. So I'm going to be holding my weights in front of me with my palms facing the tops of my legs. So you'll be looking at the backs of my hands as I do my deadlift. Then I'm going to press my heels into the ground, hinge at the hips to stand. And then I'm going to do my curtsy lunge. As I do my curtsy lunge, I'm going to add a bicep curl. So I'm going to rotate my wrists so that they're facing forward. As I step back into my curtsy lunge, curl the weights, and then step forward and rotate my wrists again, return to my starting position, alternating sides with each rep. So deadlift, curtsy lunge with a bicep curl, deadlift, curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. All right, so just imagine that you are standing in a box, and each time you do that curtsy lunge, you're trying to tap the corner of your box with your toe. So you're lunging behind you and diagonally across your body at the same time, bending both knees. Tap the back knee to the ground if you can, just be careful. Don't bang your knee into the ground because it hurts. Make sure every aspect of the movement is under control, and that is my first exercise. My second exercise is going to be a push-up on the dumbbell. So I'm just using one dumbbell for this. Now, I'm using hex dumbbells, which means that they are flat on the bottom. If you are using dumbbells that are rounded on the end, or if you are using household items for weight, like shampoo bottles or water bottles or something, I would prefer that you modify this exercise by having your hands flat on the floor or the ground for your push-up, and then picking up your weight. I'm going to be holding onto my weight while I'm doing my push-up, but if you're using rounded dumbbells, they're liable to roll around on you. I don't want anyone getting hurt. So please just be smart, be safe, use your common sense, make the decision that is best for you. But unless you are using a kettlebell or hex dumbbells or some other type of dumbbells that are flat on the bottom, I would prefer that you do the push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. So any push-up variation you want to do is fine. And then I'm going to be adding a squat with using my dumbbell as a counterweight, a front arm raise using my dumbbell as a counterweight. So I'm going to start by holding on to either side of my dumbbell, and I'm going to do my push-up from this position. Then I'm going to jump my feet in, pick up the dumbbell, and as I squat, I'm going to lift the weight up in front of me, front arm raise, using the dumbbell as a counterweight. And that's 1 rep. Put the weight back down, jump the feet out, push up, jump the feet in, stand, counterweight squat. All right, so just make sure, again, with your squats, that your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, abs are tight, think about hinging at the hips. So push the booty back, keeping your back flat, make sure you're not allowing your back to round, and making sure the weight is in your heels. You should actually be able to pick up your toes, and from this position is where you can sink down into your squat, then press your heels into the ground to stand. And for your push-up, make sure that your head is in line with your spine, make sure your shoulders are away from your ears, and make sure your back is flat. So with our squats and our lunges and our deadlifts, we're trying to avoid a rounded back. So when I say straight back, I'm talking about tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets, lifting that chest up high. With our push-ups, we're trying to avoid an arch in the back. So what you're looking to avoid is something that looks like this, allowing your hips or your belly to droop down. So tighten up your abs, use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them lifted high. So you want to make sure that your head is in line with your spine. Don't allow your head to drop down like this. And you want to make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. So if you find that you're kind of sinking down into your shoulders like this, press the dumbbell away from you, or press the floor or the ground away from you. Push yourself up nice and high in your plank position. So head is in line with the spine, shoulders are away from your ears, your back is flat. Make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. And once you have found that beautifully perfect straight line from your heels all the way to your shoulders, nothing moves. Make sure you keep your body in one straight line as you lower your chest down towards the dumbbell or towards the ground, and then press the ground or the dumbbell away from you. Push yourself back up. You can also step your feet back into your plank position, do your push-up, and then step them in. You don't have to jump them out and in. So again, just make the decision that's best for you. But that's the second exercise. For the third and fourth exercises, I'm going to be down on my mat. And for these next 2 exercises, I'm also just going to be holding on to 1 dumbbell. You can hold on to both of your weights together if you prefer, but that just depends on how heavy your weights are. For these 2 exercises, I'm just going to be holding on to 1 dumbbell. So I have 1 hand on either side of my dumbbell like this. I'm going to be starting with a sit-up plus a tricep overhead press. So I'm starting down here on my back, on my mat, knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor or the ground, and I'm holding on to either side of my dumbbell. My arms are extended overhead. Now I'm going to sit up, bringing the dumbbell with me. I'm going to reach up, so straightening my back, reaching the dumbbell up like I'm trying to touch the ceiling with the dumbbell, and now making sure my insides of my elbows stay glued to my temples. So from my shoulder to my elbows, I'm trying to keep that perfectly still. I'm going to drop the dumbbell behind me, so I'm just hinging at the elbow, and then hinging at the elbow as I straighten the arm, press the weight back up overhead, and then I'm going to reverse the movement and come back down into my starting position. So sit up, reach, tricep extension, and come back down. So when I say keep the insides of your elbows glued to your temples, what I'm talking about is this. As you bend your elbows and drop the weight behind you, you want your elbows to stay where they are. So you don't want your elbows to go back behind you with the dumbbell. And as you straighten your arms, you don't want your elbows to come forward. So from your shoulder to your elbow should stay perfectly still. You're just hinging at the elbow as you do that tricep extension. All right, and then my second exercise is going to be a glute bridge raise with a lat pull over. So I'm going to start again down here on my back. My knees are bent, my feet are flat on the mat, and I'm going to start again with my arms extended up overhead, and I'm holding on to either side of my dumbbell. Now I'm going to press my heels into the mat, lift my hips up as high as I can, and as I do that, I'm squeezing my glutes at the top. As I do that, I'm bringing my dumbbell up and over, tapping it to my legs, my hip flexors, wherever your arms happen to reach. And then I'm just going to reverse the movement. So I'm lowering the hips down with control, and as I do that, I'm bringing the weight back behind me, returning to my starting position. So pressing the heels into the mat, lift the hips as high as you can, squeeze the glutes at the top, adding that lat pullover, and then reverse the movement, making sure every aspect of the movement is under control. So you're not just allowing your hips to drop down, you're not just dropping the weight down, you are controlling every aspect of the movement. You don't need to go this slowly, but this is how much under control the movement should be. And that's it. That's our second and third exercises. So the next exercise is basically a thruster. You can do regular thrusters if you want. I'm going to be doing my thrusters with my feet staggered. So I'm going to be doing a staggered stance squat. And instead of keeping my dumbbells up here on my shoulders the whole time, I'm going to have my dumbbells to my side for my squat. I'm going to curl them up to my shoulders before I do my overhead press. And I'm going to be doing a hammer curl since we already did bicep curls earlier. So if you think of the way you would swing a hammer, that's the grip you have on your dumbbell. So when we did our bicep curls, my wrists were facing forward. So you're looking at my palms right now. For my hammer curl, my hands are going to be at my sides like this. My palms are touching the outsides of my legs and the backs of my hands are facing the walls. So that's the grip I'm going to have on my dumbbells for this entire exercise. So it's going to look like this. I'm holding my weights to my sides, and now I'm going to be doing a staggered stance squat. So I'm going to step 1 foot back, and I'm going to do my squat from this position. So remember, hinging at the hips, push that booty back, keeping the back flat, keeping the weight more or less in this front heel. Your weight, I'd say, is about 80-20-ish, something like that. So then what you're going to do is really press this front heel into the ground, pressing into the ground with the ball of your foot, the back foot, to stand. And as I stand, I'm going to curl the weights up to my shoulders, press them up overhead. Then bend the elbows, bring the weights back down to the shoulders, straighten the elbows, return to the starting position. Staying on the same leg for the entire work interval. So, staggered stance squat, hammer curl, overhead press, squat, curl the weights, press the weights up overhead. All right, super simple. So if the staggered stance squat is too difficult or uncomfortable, you don't have to do it with a staggered stance. If you don't want to do hammer curls, you can keep the weights up here by your shoulders. Just if you're doing it, it's your workout. So modify the exercises however you need to. Do it in whatever way works for you, but that's how I'm going to be doing my thruster variation. So next is going to be a forward lunge variation. And again, for this exercise, I'm using just one of my weights. So with your forward lunge, the main thing you want to remember is that you're going for about a 90 degree angle in your front leg. So you're starting with your feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to step forward, bend both knees, and come down into your lunge. So what you're trying to make sure of is that your knee of your front leg is over your heel of your front foot as opposed to being out over your toes like this. All right, so do your best. I promise no one is going to show up at your house with a protractor and measure the angle in your front knee, but that's what you're going for, all right? And then you're just going to step back. So I'm going to start holding my dumbbell on one side, and the side I'm holding my dumbbell on is going to be my standing leg. So with the opposite foot, I'm going to step forward, bend both knees and come down into my lunge. Make sure the movement's under control. Don't bang your knee into the ground. And then I'm going to press into the ground, step back to stand. Now I'm going to take the dumbbell and I'm going to pass it behind my back and now around front and then one more time behind the back so that it ends up on the other side. So we're going 540 degrees. All right, so now with the dumbbell on the other side, this is my standing leg. With the opposite foot, I'm going to step forward, bend both knees, come down into my lunge, step back, and pass the dumbbell. 540 degrees. So around the back to the other side, that's 180. Keep going in the same direction. That's 360. and we want the dumbbell to end up on the opposite side. So once more, pass the dumbbell behind the back. That's our 540. So now the dumbbell's on this side. This is my standing leg, stepping forward with the opposite foot, lunge, and then 180, 360, 540. Other side, lunge. Pass the dumbbell around and to the other side. All right, so that is my, what is that, 2, 4, 6. That's my 6th exercise. We have to do 4 more. So the next exercise, I'm going to be doing basically pike toe taps, but I'm going to be holding onto my dumbbells. So I'm going to be moving the dumbbells back one at a time and then moving them forward one at a time. So again, if your dumbbells are not flat on the bottom, I would prefer that you just do this exercise without any added weight. Just do pike toe taps, and I'll show you that modification in just a second. But this is what I'm doing. I'm going to start up here in a plank position, holding onto both dumbbells. Now I'm going to lift my hips, and as I do that, I'm going to pick up one dumbbell. So I'm lifting my hips straight up towards the sky, picking up one dumbbell and bringing it back towards the opposite foot. Let go of the dumbbell, and then bring the hips back down, returning to my plank position, and then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So lifting the hips, bringing the opposite dumbbell back, placing it in front of the other foot, and then return to my plank position. Now, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to pick up the dumbbell from towards my foot and bring it towards the front. Repeat that on the other side, okay? So just moving one dumbbell at a time towards the opposite foot, and then picking up one dumbbell at a time and moving it from the opposite foot forward again. All right, so that's what I'm doing. If your dumbbells are not flat on the bottom, or if you're using household items, just do pike toe taps. So it's the same movement, but you're not picking up anything, you're not moving anything, and more importantly, you're never in a position where you're putting your weight on rounded dumbbells or household items. You could do the same thing and just make sure you always have one hand flat. So you could start here in your plank position, pick up one weight, move it back, and then pick up the other weight. You could do it that way also. That's fine. Let go so that you always have at least one hand flat on the floor or the ground. That could work. But some variation of that. But I'm going to be using my dumbbells for that, so you can do any type of pike toe taps you want. And then I'm going to be doing, for my 7th exercise, renegade row push-ups. So again, this is a push-up variation. Do whatever push-up variation you want, but just remember, head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back, body in one straight line as you lower your chest towards the ground. And then I'm going to be rowing my weights one at a time, so 2 plank rows. So that just means I'm bending the elbow, lifting the weight up towards my shoulder, placing the weight back down with control. So make sure you're not dropping the weight down. The movement should be under control. If your dumbbells are rounded on the ends, or if you are using household items, then do your push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. And then do your plank rows, let go of the weight, put the weight down, let go, so that you always have at least one hand flat on the floor or the ground for stability. But that's it. That's the exercise. Just do your best as you're rowing the weights to minimize any kind of rocking side to side. Okay, so you don't want to open up your hips so that they're kind of facing the wall next to you. You want to do your best to keep your hips square towards the ground as much as possible, so that instead of something that looks like this, do you see how I'm opening up my hips and my hips are facing the wall? You want to do your best to keep your hips facing square towards the ground, so it should look more like this. Okay, so not this. I'm exaggerating it so you understand what I'm talking about, but this. Okay, so you want to just isolate that movement as you're rowing the weights. But that's it. That is exercises 7 and 8, just 2 more to go. All right, so for these last 2 exercises, again, I'm just holding on to 1 dumbbell. I'm doing a side lunge with a lateral arm raise. So I'm going to start standing towards one side of my space. I'm going to step to the side, bending this leg and coming down into my lunge. So again, shoulders are back and down. As I come down into my lunge, I'm pushing my booty back, keeping my back flat, keeping the weight in this heel. Make sure you're not rounding your back. As I do that, I'm going to reach down towards that foot with my dumbbell. But again, if you cannot reach down towards your foot without rounding your back, then don't worry about it. Just reach down towards your knee. The important thing is that you're keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heel. So lunging to the side, and then as I press this heel into the ground and return to my starting position, I'm going to do a lateral arm raise. So I'm not lifting the weight directly to the side like this. You want it angled at about like a 45-degree angle. So you want your arm not coming directly to the side, but slightly angled to the front. And you want to make sure you're not locking out your elbow. So you're not actively trying to straighten your arm. You want a soft bend to your elbow as you do that lateral arm raise. So lunge, lateral arm raise. Staying on the same side for the entire work interval. All right, and then the final exercise is going to be another squat variation. So for this one, I'm going to be lifting one heel as I come down into my squat, and then I'm going to be adding 4 bus drivers. So that means that, again, I'm holding on to either end of my dumbbell like this. I'm going to press the weight out in front of me, so it's like a standing chest press, and then I'm going to rotate so that my weight is facing up and down like this vertically, and then I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4 turns as though I'm turning the wheel of a bus. So you're just rotating which side of the dumbbell is on top. We'll do 4 of those, and then you'll bring your weight back into your chest. Repeat on the other side. So lift the opposite heel, squat, put the heel down, press the weight out in front of you, rotate the weight so that it's facing upright, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, bring the weight back into your chest, alternating which heel is elevated for each rep. So heel elevated squat, chest press, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 bus drivers. Return to your starting position. Other side, pick up the heel, squat, stand, put the heel down, chest press, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that is it. That is my 10th and final weighted exercise. Other than those 10 exercises, we're just going to be doing jump rope. So I kind of jog in place like this while I'm jumping rope, but any jump rope variation you want to do is fine. If you're more comfortable jumping with your feet together, jump with your feet together. If you are really good at jump rope, you can do something more challenging, like high knees or jump rope jacks. You can do a boxer shuffle. You can hop side to side. It doesn't matter. Any jump rope variation you want to do is fine. So whatever is comfortable for you. If you don't have a jump rope, you can just jog in place. You can pantomime jumping rope either with your feet together or like I do, kind of jogging in place. You can jog in place without pretending you're jumping over a rope. You can do high knees, jumping jacks, mountain climbers, any kind of cardio exercise you want to do for those intervals where I'm jumping rope is fine. Just keep in mind that we're on 45-second work intervals. So make sure that you choose an exercise that you are able to realistically sustain for 45-second intervals, and that's it. All right, that's all we're doing today. I'm racing this sunbeam, so I'm trying to talk really, really fast and get through this tutorial as quickly as possible. So very quickly, here is the format. So we're on 15-second rest intervals and 45-second work intervals times 30 rounds. So that's our 30 minutes. The entire workout is only going to take 30 minutes. So we are going to be doing couplets. So the first 2 exercises, that's our deadlift plus a curtsy lunge with a bicep curl and our push-up on the dumbbell with a counterweight squat. We're going to do those exercises back to back twice through. So that's going to be my first 4 work intervals. My first work interval is going to be a deadlift plus a curtsy lunge. My second work interval is going to be a push-up on the dumbbell plus a counterweight squat. Then I'm going to repeat that. And then with my next 2 work intervals, I'm going to jump rope. So we're going to do, there were 10 exercises. We're going to do the first 2 that way, and then we're going to follow that same pattern for the rest of the exercises. So for exercises 3 and 4, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do those exercises twice, back to back, all right? So after I do my 2 jump rope intervals, I'm going to get down on the mat. I'm going to do my sit-up with a tricep overhead press, and then my bridge with a lat pullover, and then I'll repeat that couplet, and then I'll move on to jump rope, 2 jump rope intervals, and then we'll do the same thing for the next 2 exercises, okay? So we're always doing 4 intervals of our weighted exercises, twice through for each exercise. So if it's something where you're doing it on one side, make sure you're switching sides. So for example, with our staggered stance thrusters, make sure that you remember which foot is in front and which foot is in back the first time through, so that when you repeat the couplet, you can switch sides, all right? And then that's it. We're just following that pattern until we get to the last 2 exercises. So again, those are side lunge with a lateral arm raise. So you're gonna stay on one side for the entire 45 seconds, and then you will do your squats. That's our heel elevated squat plus our bus drivers. So that when we repeat the couplet, you'll make sure that you're on the opposite side for your side lunge with the lateral arm raise, okay? And then that's it. That's the entire format. So it's only going to take 30 minutes. Hopefully that's clear. Please remember that I do always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how everything fits together, or again, if you have questions about any of the exercises we're doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises correctly, or if you need help with beginner modifications, I'm always here to help. So please just ask. It's very important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it's also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. So I'm always here to help facilitate that. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. And again, just a reminder, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to make sure you're going at your own pace and mind your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. Please work to your own level. So that means choosing dumbbells or household items that are an appropriate weight for you. Make sure your weight is not too heavy. That means limiting your range of motion if necessary. Please do not push your body into doing anything that it is not ready to do. It means resting as necessary. So we have our nice long 15-second rest breaks. But if you need to pause and rest in the middle of a work interval, that's what you should do. Challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. You should only resume the workout once you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina so that you can continue with good form. If you find yourself racing through the exercises at the expense of your form, that means that you are increasing your risk of injury. So you need to slow down. It's always going to be safer and more effective to do fewer reps with excellent form than to race through and just go through the motions and do a bunch of sloppy reps, okay? So please just be smart, be safe, listen to your body, use your common sense, make sure you're going at your own pace, make sure you're working to your own level. Please do not sacrifice your form for speed, and just do your best. Remember that your best is always good enough, so let your best be good enough. Hopefully I have covered everything. So if you are ready to go ahead and begin the workout, make sure you have something soft beneath you. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If not, maybe a towel. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything. Grab a jump rope if you have one, and if you're jumping rope with me today. If not, remember that's fine. You can just jog in place or pantomime jumping rope. Grab a set of dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, grab a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles. So you could fill them with water if you want. You might be able to make them a little bit heavier if you fill them with something like rice or uncooked rice, please, or dried beans or lentils, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, anything like that. So just get creative and use what you've got. Then pause the video, go get dressed. Meet me right back here. We're going to start with a quick 5-minute warm up and then we'll get right into this 30-minute workout. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. So you're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed. You're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just relaxing your arm and letting gravity do all the work of just gently stretching the other side of your neck, just using the weight of your arm to do so. Now we're going to go towards the other side, so allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Don't let them creep up by your ears. Shoulders should be back and down. And now we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to let go with your hand and start by allowing your chin to fall towards your chest and then towards the opposite shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head from one shoulder to the other, just start to feel your head getting heavier and heavier as you allow your range of motion to increase. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll until finally you're just allowing your entire torso to fall down in front of you. And now we're just going to roll our shoulders. So you can roll them towards the back or towards the front. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're exaggerating the movement, really exploring your full range of motion. So make your circles as big as you possibly can. Next, we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So extend your arms out to the side and start by just making small circles. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you're making those circles as big as you can. Really explore your full range of motion. Now keep your feet planted right where they are. We're going to bend the knees, sweep the hands down in front of you. And as you straighten the legs, you're reaching up towards the ceiling. Each time you bend your knees, just allow your range of motion to increase a little more, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. And now again, keep the feet planted right where they are. We're just going to lunge side to side, nice and easy. And now add the arms. So with each lunge, I'm just reaching across my body. You should feel like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Next, we're going to just march in place. So step the feet in and march. Knees are low to begin, but gradually you want to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a little stretch in your glutes. And now we're going to jog in place. So again, knees are low to start, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving your knees up as high as you can. And then we're going to do booty kicks. So it's still just a nice light jog, but now with each step, I'm bringing my foot behind me. Really try to kick yourself with a booty cheek with your heel. For this next one, if you struggle with balance, you may need to hold onto the wall or a chair for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. Transfer your weight into one foot. Pick up the other foot and just swing the leg front and back. Nice and loose. Waking up our hip flexors. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you'll put this foot down, transfer your weight again, pick up the opposite foot, and just swing the leg front and back. You can start low, and then gradually, if it feels comfortable, you can start expanding your range of motion, swinging that leg higher and higher. Switching legs again. So picking up the opposite foot, extend the leg out in front of you. And then just bring the leg around and behind, making a semicircle. Each time I make my semicircle, I'm lifting my leg higher and higher. And then for the final 2 reps, I'm going to do a hip circle. So driving the knee up towards the chest, using the opposite hand to kind of guide it around. Other side. Extending the opposite foot out in front, bringing it around and behind. And each time you make that semicircle, lifting the leg higher and higher. And then for the last two, driving that knee up in front of you, using your hand to guide it around for a hip circle. And we'll finish with a quick hamstring stretch. So feet are wider than shoulder width apart, keeping your back as flat as possible. If you use something like this post or the wall or chair or the arm of your couch, it might make it a little bit more comfortable getting into this stretch. It might make it a little bit easier to keep your back flat as you come down into this stretch so that you isolate your hamstrings more effectively. But that's it. That's our little 5-minute warm up. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into the workout. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. This is a 15-second rest interval. So pick up your weights. You're going to hold your weights in front of you. We're starting with a deadlift plus a curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. So shoulders are back and down. You're hinging at the hips, letting the weights fall down in front of you. And now rotate your wrists so that they're facing forward, stepping back into that curtsy lunge, rotating the wrists again. Deadlift, rotate the wrists, curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. So we're alternating sides with each rep. Deadlift, curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. Other side. Deadlift, lunge, and curl. So make sure you're hinging at the hips. Your back should be flat, the weight should be in your heels. And make sure there's a soft bend to your knees as you do that deadlift. "15 seconds rest. Next, I'm doing a push-up with my hands on the dumbbell. And then I'm doing a counterweight squat. So, push up, jump or step the feet in, stand, and squat using your dumbbell as a counterweight. Weight down, push up, counterweight squat. So now we're going to repeat that couplet one more time. So we're back to our deadlift, curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. gonna have 2 intervals of jump rope. After this, we're down on the mat for abs and glutes. I'm just using 1 dumbbell for these next 2 exercises. Starting with a sit-up, tricep overhead press. So sit up, reach up, like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your dumbbell, elongating your spine. Then let the weight drop behind you. Press it back up overhead, keeping the insides of your elbows glued to your temples. So remember, you're just hinging at the elbows. Make sure you're controlling the movement on the way down. Okay, staying here. Next is our glute bridge raise with our lat pull over. So pressing your heels into the mat, lift your hips as high as you can, squeeze the glutes at the top. As you do that, you're bringing your dumbbell up and over, and you're controlling the movement on the way down. So don't allow your hips to just drop down. Don't just drop the dumbbell down. Make sure every aspect of the movement is under control. So glute bridge raise with a lat arm pull over. Trying to do as many reps as possible during each work interval, but this is an exercise that if you race through it, you're just not going to get the benefits. So move swiftly, but don't race. Don't allow your form to get sloppy. Repeating this couplet, so back to our sit-ups with a tricep overhead press. Okay, staying here, bringing the feet in a little closer to the booty. One more interval of our glute bridge raise with a lateral arm pull over. Remember, we're doing each couplet twice. So this is our second time through this couplet. So after this, we're back to jump rope. Just 15 seconds to make that transition. So quickly, putting the dumbbell down. Just need to move my jump rope mat. Grab your jump rope. And 2 more jump rope intervals. All right, next is our staggered stance thruster. So stepping 1 foot back, squat, hammer curl, overhead press. So we're staying on the same side for the entire work interval. Make sure you remember which foot is in front and which foot is behind you, so you can switch sides when we repeat the couplet. Okay, put 1 dumbbell down. Next is our forward lunge, plus our 540 dumbbell pass. So holding the dumbbell in one hand, stepping forward with the opposite leg, lunge, and now pass the dumbbell around twice and to the other side. Now this is my standing leg. Lunge, and then pass the dumbbell 540 degrees. So that the dumbbell's always ending up on the other side. And remember, whatever side the dumbbell is on is your standing leg. Stepping forward with the opposite foot, sinking down into that lunge, and then passing the dumbbell 360, 540. Okay, picking up the other dumbbell, staggered stance thrusters on the other side. So make sure you're stepping back with the opposite foot, holding the dumbbells to your side, squat, hammer curl, overhead press. Dropping one dumbbell, back to our forward lunges. Okay, that's it. We're done with that couplet. Back to jump rope, or whatever cardio exercise you're doing. 2 intervals of cardio. Next is our pike toe taps. So coming up into a plank, moving one dumbbell back towards the opposite foot. Repeat on the other side. And now reverse. Reach back, grab the dumbbell, and move it to the front. If you're not using dumbbells for this, you're just reaching back and tapping the toe on the opposite side. Now renegade row push-ups. So, push up, holding onto the dumbbells, and then 2 plank rows. tough couplet, I know. Just have to repeat it once more. Okay, one more round of renegade row push-ups, and then we're on to our final jump rope segment. Okay, quickly, grab the jump rope. Final 2 jump rope intervals. Picking up just one weight. This is our side lunge with the lateral arm raise. So lunge to the side, lateral arm raise. Remember which side you're on. So you can switch sides next time through the circuit. I just realized that I lied. We have 2 more jump rope intervals. But first, let's finish this couplet. So lift one heel, goblet squat, put down the heel, chest press, and now 1, 2, 3, 4 bus drivers. Other side. Lift the opposite heel, squat, press the weight out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we're through that couplet, so switching sides. Side lunge, lateral arm raise. Almost there, let's push. And now, final 2 intervals of jump rope. We did it. done. That was a super tough 30 minutes. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go, but first, whenever I do a workout that incorporates jump rope, in addition to my bonus burpee, I also like to do a bonus set of 100 with my jump rope. So if you would like to join me, this bonus set of jump rope is completely optional. The bonus burpee is mandatory. You must do your bonus burpee. But the bonus set of jump rope is optional. So if you don't want to do the jump rope, that's fine. Just take another minute to breathe and rest. Cheer me on. Hope I can get through this without tripping over my jump rope. I don't think I introduced Rebecca earlier. If you don't know, Rebecca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. And if you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there's a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. So if you would like to join me for this bonus set of jump rope, again, any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. We're just counting 100 revolutions of the rope. So as soon as you're ready, 1 more deep breath. All right, here we go. Bonus set of jump rope. So you're counting 100 revolutions of the rope. You'll count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 100. All right, so that's our little bonus set of jump rope. So now we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So let's do a quick cool down together. Just want to keep moving while you allow your heart rate to come down, while you allow your breathing to normalize. So you can just kind of pace around back and forth. That's what I usually do for the first minute or two. And just make sure that you're focusing on trying to slow down your breathing. So if your breathing is shallow, meaning your chest is rising and falling rapidly like this, I want you to really visualize your diaphragm being pulled down. And I want you to think about breathing all the way down to your belly button. Feel your rib cage expand. Imagine filling up your entire torso with air. And then using your diaphragm as you exhale to push the air out with control. All right, so just pace back and forth. You can shake out the legs a little bit. Let's do a quick shoulder stretch. So bringing one arm across your body, using your other arm to pull it in close to your chest, making sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and making sure your shoulder is relaxed, otherwise you're not going to be able to stretch it effectively. So make sure your shoulder's not kind of hunched up by your ear. Relax the arm, relax the shoulder, feel that nice stretch in your shoulder. And as you do that, make sure you're continuing to move. So again, you can be pacing, you can be shaking out the legs. I always just kind of shift my weight from foot to foot, shake it out. Let's get the other arm. So bringing the opposite arm across your body, use your other arm to pull it in close to your chest. Make sure your straight arm is relaxed, make sure your shoulder's relaxed. Feel that nice stretch in your shoulder. Make sure you're moving and make sure you're continuing to focus on your breath. So we're trying to slow down our breathing, setting that breath all the way down to your belly button, using your diaphragm as you push the air out with control. And shake it out. Let's do a quick tricep stretch. So just bending one elbow. Place your other hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. making sure that the fingers of your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. So you want to avoid having this hand hanging out up here somewhere by your shoulder. Fingers pointing straight down at the ground as you gently pull the elbow towards the opposite shoulder, feeling that nice stretch in your triceps. And again, making sure you're continuing to focus on your breathing and making sure you're continuing to move. Shake it out. And let's get the triceps on the other side. So bending the other elbow, place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Fingers of your free hand are pointing straight down at the ground. I'm just kind of shifting my weight from foot to foot, but again, you can shake out the legs, you can pace. Just keep moving, keep focusing on your breathing. Take one more deep breath here. And shake it out. We'll finish with a quick quad stretch. So if you struggle with balance, you may want to hold onto the wall or a chair or the arm of your couch for support. You're going to bend one knee, bring the foot behind you. If you are holding on to something for support, you're just going to reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with the hand that's on the same side. If you're not holding on to anything for support, you can reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. And then you're just going to press your heel into your booty cheek. Really press, press, press it in there. As you're doing that, you're continuing to focus on your breathing, of course, but you also want to be tucking your tailbone underneath you. So tilt your pelvis forward. Imagine trying to touch your spine with your belly button. Kind of tucking your booty underneath you, feeling that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. So make sure as you do that, that you're continuing to really press that heel into your booty cheek. And come out, shake out the legs. We're gonna do the same stretch on the other side. So again, you're going to bend the opposite knee, bring the foot behind you and grab a hold of the foot with the hand that's on the same side if you're holding on to something for support. If not, you can reach back and grab a hold of that foot with both hands. Press that heel into your booty cheek. And as you're doing that, you're tilting your pelvis forward. So tuck the booty underneath you, suck that belly button all the way back to your spine, making sure that you're continuing as you do that to press the heel into the booty cheek so that you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify in your quads as you isolate them more effectively. But if you're doing it correctly, you're also going to feel that stretch extend all the way up to your hip flexors. One more deep breath here. And come out. And one last time, just shake out the legs, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms a little bit, and that's it. That's our little cool down. So if you find that you're still breathing heavily, your heart rate is still elevated, just take a few more minutes to pace around a little bit more. You can do a little more light stretching. That's a great idea. Just remember that this little bit of light stretching that we do during the cool down does not take the place of a proper stretching routine. It's still really important to make sure that you're taking the time to stretch every day. A good 15 or 20 minutes if you have time is great. If you can do it right now, immediately after the workout is always going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. But if you don't have time to stretch now, that's fine. As long as you're getting your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what matters. Just remember that if you do put off your stretching until later on in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. You never want to jump into your stretching routine with cold muscles because your muscles need to be warm in order for them to be pliable so that you can stretch them safely and effectively. But as long as you're getting your stretching done at some point during the day, that's what matters. It's just really important to make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day. It's not only going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after the workouts, but it's also going to reduce your risk of injury moving forward. And of course, it's going to improve your flexibility and your mobility. So make sure you're taking the time to stretch every day, but also please make sure that you are doing so safely. But that's it. That's all I have for you today. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear about the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, please remember that I'm always here to help, so just ask. That is going to do it for today, but before I say goodbye, I just have to say one final thank you to those of you who have been watching the videos all the way until the end and commenting with the secret code phrase of the day. So before I say goodbye, I will give you today's secret code phrase of the day. It is bravo, Stan, fantastic. Bravo, comma, Stan, period, fantastic, period. That is the secret code phrase of the day. So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way until the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says, bravo, Stan, fantastic. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all next time. Bye.